Okay, I just wanted to show you this thing. This took about 5 gallons of resin. It has a cone inner core in there. And if you take a close look at that, you can see that there's some metal lining the inside. I did that because I put some shellac on the inside, and I noticed this, there's a reduction in energy output. And then it dawned on me that well, an orgone accumulator has organic material on the outside and metal on the inside, and this appears to be, an orgone accumulator. The heavy concentration is on the inside, and this unit in here is translating it. More on that later. As you can see, it's hooked up just barely by those wires, and those wires go into the back of this amp, this 12-volt amp. Now, if you notice, I have the wires plugged into the negative terminals of the left and the right channels. The reason I did that is because I don't want to blow a speaker. I didn't put a resistor on this thing, so plugging them into a regular channel like left or right using the positive and the negative would be just like wiring them together. It's basically a 600-foot short. This way I get the qualities of both channels. It's something that occurs in the studio. It's not fully left and it's not fully right. It's a mid-range, and it's going to do for our purpose. The MP3 thing here is plugged in, and that's plugged into this unit right here. Real simple, cheap little unit, set at 432 hertz. Okay, 432 hertz sounds good. I suggest you should look into that. And that is plugged into this thing right here. MP3 player and amp. And it's just a cheap little amp. I think it cost me like $10. Alright, it'll suit the purposes. And that's plugged into this outlet right here, this accessory outlet. Now the purpose is, let's see what happens when it's sitting in my car, because for the life of me I can't figure out what else to do with it. It's too big, to mount on, for weather control. I imagine it'd probably do that, but just for lack of inspiration, I put it in here. And I gotta tell you, the buzz is terrific. This has 6 mobius coils in it, wired in series. Each mobius coil is 100 feet long, 600 feet of mobius coil in there. That's quite a bit. There's 2 main layers, an extremely dense layer surrounding the mobius coils, and surrounding that I have this medium density orgonite. There's you can see in there, there's bits of aluminum, there's some iron oxide to stabilize the mix, a few other little odds and ends. The outside is painted with shellac, and I noticed that each coat of shellac that I put on there, the better the energy output felt. Now you can see that there's some problems with it. That's auto body filler. Yep, you use auto body filler when you want to fill in some voids. In units like this, you don't want any voids, you don't want any edges, and that's why I got rid of the edges around here. I molded some top parts here from the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket and just sealed them on there. Everything around here is rounded. Everything on here is rounded, all throughout, and even the inner core that's sitting in here, that's rounded the same way that this is. It's the edges where the energy leaks out, and this is what I'm trying to prevent. I want all the energy in here, and apparently that's exactly what it's doing. You could feel a little bit of energy around the outside. Out here, nothing. Out here, a little bit. And right around here, That's when it starts to get big, and that's where you could feel it. That's where you could feel this. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's amplifying accumulating the energy right in the center vortex of this. It does one of those things all the way around here, and it's, well, needless to say, it's pretty much a mind blower. But this is the setup. Thought I'd let you see what's going on here. Total cost for all this stuff, all the electronics here, maybe somewhere around $20, maybe. You know, if you went out and bought them. I had some of this stuff just laying around here, like this thing. Geez, I got about a dozen of these things because they come in handy. You put a frequency on here, and it has continuous play, and it'll run as long as it's charged. And as long as we're charging this thing up, it's going to run. I designed this thing so I could have it running whenever the car is. All I have to do is just pull that thing out. I suppose it would be better if I just had a switch, but hey, you can't have everything, can you? This thing right over here I just got for a couple of bucks. Where did I get that from anyhow? Damn, I forget. I don't know. You pick up things like this. They're all over the place. Electronics is cheap, you know? And this thing, what could I say about this thing? You know, hey, you know, you can find these anywhere for about 10 bucks. Nice little unit to have if you're going to be doing things in a car. I just thought I'd show you this, and we'll keep it plugged in and see what happens. Okay, I decided to move this thing inside instead of keeping it in the car. One thing I noticed about when it was in the car is everywhere I went I had green lights. But be that as it may, I just didn't want to leave it in there for all the time. So I brought it in here and I set the thing up. There's the amp. Connected to the amp is the MP3 player and 432 hertz. Going into this unit here for DC. Plugged into this. Going into the AC adapter, which is plugged into AC. Just to make all this stuff run. And things fired up. It's running. And I'm just making a few observations here. It's everything's running, everything's the way it's supposed to. It's kicking out some nice energy. But I have some parts laying around here. I want to try a few things. Basic, simple 4-inch PVC pipe. And it just fits right on like that. And now the only difference between this and when it was in the car is this pipe. And I just want to see if there's any difference here. Not much. Well, I'll be back with this in a minute. Okay, where were we? All right, everything's running. Everything's working proper. We got the frequency going. We got the amp going. We got the energy going to it. Everything's running right. We're all hooked up. And again, I can feel that energy around the outside. Not much. Not much. But right up in here, that's where the energy's coming from. Okay, I want to try something. Just the placement of this. It's a torsion ring. Okay, that did something. That act alone really put up the energy level on this. Oh man, it's cranking out a lot more than it was. Absolutely. And all the way up out here it's radiating energy. And right over the top there. That's really impressive. And it seems to be growing. let's measure how much of this we have. I can feel that energy bubble out here. It's really putting out the energy, and that's the least amount of energy that it's supposed to put out. Out here, it's absolutely fierce. Absolutely, you can feel the stream. You can feel the energy stream right there. It's just like that. This thing is like adding rifling to it. It's like jacking it up some. You should look into torsion rings. Very interesting. I don't know if I could consider it an energy source or an antenna, but this thing is really picking out the energy. Just for curiosity. There's energy coming out from the bottom of the table too. It's about the same as around the sides, but yo man, ow, you, geez. And right there is the stream. That's impressive. Still, I don't know exactly what I could do with this thing. If I put some stacks on it, who knows. But I'm going to let this thing run for a while. As long as I don't have to have it in my car driving around. Who knows what's going to happen then, but I'm going to let this run just to see what happens. That's impressive. That is really impressive. I think this is the most powerful unit I made to date. Absolutely no question about it. 5 gallons of resin, 600 feet of wire to make the 6 mobius coils lined up in series. Yeah, that's impressive. And to think that just the addition of that made such a big difference is astonishing. That's it for now. Best I could do is work on this and let you know what I come up with.